Here we are. Okay, we are live. Mark, good morning.
Anna, good morning, darling, and Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you too. The time just flew by, didn't it? We are literally on, 8th of January, and we last spoke 9th of December.
Scary, isn't it?
I know. People are like, what the hell happened? It's like, well, you know, Christmas time, everybody's busy, marking his turkeys and all that.
Someone put a message on one of my YouTube videos the other day, and they said, have you and Anna fallen out?
No, we've just been busy. Hello, everyone who's watching this for the moment, whoever joined. Hopefully have more people joining. So welcome. Yeah, no, just been busy. Obviously, froze.
Yeah, you were froze again, are we?
Yeah. Hey, yeah, no, you guys got to understand, isn't it? Because obviously you've got commitments with the, with the farm and things and families as well. And the same here. So we've got, a lot happening for Christmas time, preparations for the little one, and just a lot been going on, isn't it? A lot of planning for, the bits for the channel, and obviously you've had other bits as well yourself with the channel. And congrats on your 11 points. What is it now? 11.6 thousand you've got now.
I think
going is good.
I
don't know.
Across all the social media, I think we're sitting at about sort of 56,000 now.
Yeah, it's good.
Facebook's jumped up to about 30,500, something like that. It's really jumped up.
Yeah, it is good. It's important, isn't it? The bigger audience they will gain from all of this, obviously, then the guys will help spread the.
Absolutely, and I think that's one of the things we perhaps don't, Anna, we don't ask for enough. We don't ask for people to like and share it, because I definitely know, and I'm sure you are as well, aware that we do get censored. Even if it's not something we're overly aware of, we do get censored. And if you can muck the algorithms up, what run YouTube and so forth, then and the way to do that is for people to share it and make it more popular as a direct result. Then it sort of messes about with Facebook and YouTube. Interestingly, Anna, on a side note of food and farming, did you see this morning that Mark Zuckerberg put out a video?
No.
I know Gareth Wynne Jones shared it this morning. Mark Zuckerberg had put out a video saying that they're going to be, because of the change of administration in America, they're going to be taking fact checker off of Facebook.
I've seen this. Sorry, I've briefly seen that. Yeah. And they're going more political way or something, they're saying. Well, going more political direction or something.
I think it basically means is the Trump administration's given him a good kick in the arse and told him to take it off.
Yeah, it's crazy. But saying about the censorship, the people, as you say, people don't really realize the but I get many comments. As soon as people post comments, people are like, it's get deleted, or sometimes people think I'm deleting it because I don't like what people messaging. I never delete.
Yeah, I had someone comment on. They said, "I've put this comment on 4 times, Mark. Why do you keep deleting it?" So I don't even know how to delete a comment.
No, and those comments don't even go into blocked ones for swearing and stuff.
We can either read them. We don't even see them. So obviously got some keyword in what someone didn't like. But anyway, Anna.
Yes.
Food and farming. I remember.
Let's kick off with. Let's stick with Arlen Bovet, because we, I think, just briefly talked about it when it just all kicked off, didn't we? The whole thing, like when they additive and we kind of laughed about it, thinking, this is not really like that kind of thing. And of course now it's been a month and it's literally blown out like crazily. It's people emailing me, people literally in a lot of countries. All of this is happening. People are just really, really unhappy, and it's not just with the milk, but with the meat. And I've noticed. Like everybody else, I've noticed the sorry, that was my phone.
I noticed that you obviously put your petition in about food labelling.
Yeah, I don't think
there's another one doing the rounds at the minute. I saw this morning about labelling of beef if it's come from a dairy cow, and if that's come from a bovia dairy cow, and so forth. So I think what happens is with all of these, Anna, that the government gets bombarded with these, and eventually something comes out the other end of it. Even if they don't take one of them in particular, they broadly look at all this stuff, I'm sure. I mean, I don't know if you saw the video I did talking about the Arla situation. I believe that this was instigated. I don't believe this was a mistake they made at all.
Yeah, that's what we thought, didn't we, initially? Because there's too much of a backlash for why would you do this? It's going to create that kind of issues, isn't it?
And I think that is 100% deliberate. I think it's an attack on the dairy industry more than their profits.
Yeah.
Because Arla knows, and you know, if you look into Arla and how big they are, they're 72% of the dairy industry. And when you actually look at what they did in doing that, they took away the desire for people to want milk.
Yeah.
And the concern of eating meat. Right?
Yeah, and not just milk, other dairy things as well,
dairy
like
products,
cheeses.
Yeah. So
chocolate.
what you've ended up with is they can then say through their other companies, oh, well, we have an alternative for that. We've got almond milk, we've got soy milk, we've got this, we've got that, you know, and we can make you whatever you want now out of all these other lovely products, oat milk, whatever it might be. They own the fecking lot, so it makes no difference to them. Right?
But you know what's going to make a difference, Mark? When I come up with the videos, I was just, funnily enough, doing the research on the almond milks and everything else. It's so much out there to actually tell you that stuff actually ain't really good for you. It's a lot.
And it's not only is it not good for you, it's not good for the damn environment. I mean, to produce, I think it was to produce 1 pint of milk from almonds, you need about 30 pints of water. I don't know what those figures were, but it was something horrendous. And I was like, Jesus, really?
Yeah, it's scary. But the effect actually has a negative effect on certain parts. Again, I will do that totally separate. But it's as you say, they're going to come up with that. But it's going to be, whilst people actually find out what's actually in it, people are going to be thinking twice about that. And it's going to be, again, part of on my channel on the top of the basic. It's going to be exposing, and it's going to be like, truth exposed. People need to know. You know.
I mean, while we're on the subject of the cows, obviously, I think you covered a video the other day. I haven't done one yet. You covered the video the other day about these calves being born, you know,
IVF.
Through IVF, yeah. And you look at this and you think to yourself, at what point are scientists going to stop trying to play God with the food industry?
I don't know. It's disgusting, really. It's, you know.
It just ceases to make, you know, they've tried all this shit before.
Yeah.
Caused lots of issues. And here we are doing the same thing repeatedly over and over again. I'm just conscious I've got a wood burner behind me, which is getting a bit warm. But you'll laugh. I'll just tell you this quickly. I put a load of coconuts on the other day that had dried out. And I thought, oh, they're hardwood. They'll burn really nice. I was sitting there making a video. There was this massive explosion. One of the coconuts had obviously got a little bit of milk left in it.
And there you go.
And the fire blew to bits. Anyway,
you didn't crap yourself, did you? That's okay.
So, yeah. But I think what we're seeing is we're seeing a massive, and I mean, obviously we set up the Food Finder Hub, didn't we? And we've set that up, and that's now over 7,000 members of public on there, Anna.
Yeah, that's good.
And that's coming as a direct result of people kicking back against the food system and not wanting what the food system is clearly delivering to them.
Yeah. Could you know, so coming back to the cows and stuff, obviously the cows that they've now genetically modified, grown in the lab, put it back in a cow to, you know, give birth to that thing, to basically be a low methane produced cow, right? So initially they would have to mess about with the mama cow and the papa cow to, you know, over the 50 years they were working on this to create a cow, or, you know, put better cow together to create a better cow that doesn't fart type thing, right? But I'm a little bit confused in the way to then, if they've already done this, obviously it's been in the making for a very long time, why bother with the additive then to make cows fart less if they're now done it? Considering what's the lifespan on the cow? I don't know. Maybe that answers the question. Do you know how long the cows live? They slaughter them after like a few years.
I was going to say they only last about a year. Yeah. I mean, they will last up to 10, 15 years if they're left alone.
But they don't keep them, do they? They slaughter them after what, 4 or 5 years after, especially the milking cows?
Milking cows. Yeah, I mean, 4 or 5 years are going to be gone.
Yeah, so write it out, right? If you invented the new cow, well, just leave those bloody cows alone to live their life in, you know, full fart, and then just bring in your.
I mean, crazy. The problem is, Annie, you and I both know, understand, and realise that they're not changing anything with the cows.
Yeah.
You know, because while all this is going on, and they're convincing everyone they're saving the planet, you know, they're still flying to Davos, about 2,000 of them in their private jets. You know, and they're not doing anything, you know, it's lip service to be able to tax people. I don't know if you saw the video which I can't think of his name. Richard Jeffs, I think it is. Did
All
with
right.
Richard Robes the other day, talking about stakeholder capitalism.
No, I didn't watch. No.
That's scary. You need to
Right.
watch that and do a talk
Okay.
about that, Anna.
Right.
So basically, what they're saying is, and you can see how this is unfolding. So,
Okay. Who is that guy? The not the Vibes. Who's the other guy?
I think it was Richard Jeffs.
Yeah. Who is he?
He talks. He's a guy who owns several companies and just has realised what's going on with the WEF and the world, and the World Health Organization, and everybody else, and has looked into how they're taking over the world and why they're taking over the world. And I'm someone who's always been very awake to the agenda.
Yeah.
But Christ, it even scared me. I was just like, shit.
Oh, really?
Really deep. Yeah, really deep and very dark.
Yeah.
So
Well, like anyway,
it's
I think
worth watching. It's worth watching.
Yeah. Okay. Because generally, agenda is pretty deep and pretty dark, and obviously there are other things that people probably choose not to talk about, or we'd certainly be not allowed to talk about with the elites. The things that are happening, and
it'll be interesting to see after the 20th of January, Anna, when Trump rolls into power,
if it is,
if he's allowed.
Yeah, I don't see it. I don't see it.
It'll be interesting to see if he does get in properly.
Yeah.
What that actually does for freedom of speech around the rest of the world, because I had a guy come out to see me yesterday who we were talking about the legalities in farming, inheritance tax and everything else. We're getting quite deep, and I did a section for his show with him. And he's a legal guy and just horrendous amounts of knowledge of the legal system. And it was interesting having conversations with him about the legalities in what's going on at the minute around the farmers.
Yeah.
And interestingly, Richard Vobes and I spoke this morning, and we were talking about, I don't know if you've familiar with history, but obviously in Russia, in the 1920s, early 30s, when the communists decided they wanted to get rid of all the farmers, what they did was kept pushing the farmers to the point they took up their arms. They then overthrow and get the public to turn on them, because when the food got short, the government blamed the farmers. And as a result of that, the farmers then lost their land because they were told the laws changed, you can't now grow food.
We have gremlins, sorry, again.
Oh, imagine that when I talk about history.
Isn't it just?
So that's what happened in Russia, in the early 1920s. And so they ended up with a situation, there was no food. The farmers were blamed because there was no food, and they stemmed the rebellion because they also took away their arms at the same time.
Calm down, Mark. Calm down. It's only live chat.
and as a result of that, obviously the communists managed to starve about sort of 30 million people. Yeah. And we know, whether it's been Russia or China or anywhere else, that the communist regime have always used food as a suppressant to keep the public where they want them.
But we can't do without, can we? That's the whole point. No. That's what.
And what I was going to say on that is, Anna, do you not find it funny that at this point the farmers are being pushed to the point of rebellion?
Yeah.
We are just about to take action on the 17th of January, barricading supermarkets and so forth, or as far as the powers to be have said.
Yeah, we'll come back to that in a minute,
casually rolling onto their car parks, and, making a stand so the public can see what's going on. I don't see that happening. But the farming community is being pushed to that point, just like they were in 1920. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. This isn't the first time this has happened, by the way. If you look back through history, the food side against the farmers has been used dozens of times throughout communism.
But people need to see that. Don't people need to see and it's difficult to see through this. Like, why would you kind of do that? But again, coming back to the agenda, the 2030 is unfortunately, deport agenda. It's too many. It's not too many, but to them, it's just too many of us that are useless, according to Mr. Gates. Useless eaters. That's what they look at us. We're just nothing. And I've done a video, I don't know, a month ago or so about there was a speculation that they talked about basically by whatever time they're going to be deciding how long you got to live. So say if they decide, okay, the state age going to be 75 or 60, after that there's a booth, off you plop, off you go, and they'll be incentivized with, yeah, you'll be incentivized, your family be incentivized to make it better by giving them money because they don't want you. It's like, surely, like, the, you know, we're talking about them playing guts for animals and that. What is that going to be? And like, surely we can't let it get to this stage. It's just something that apparently, you know, leaked, that they just talked about. It's not saying it's going to be implemented, but come on, who are you people?
What we've seen with all this, isn't it? It's slid in so carefully, so slyly, so backhandedly, so backdoorly, that, you know, that people don't realise what's actually going on. People haven't got a bloody clue, not really.
No.
And I think over the course of the next, I give this now, we're down to months, and I think that the food shortages are going to start in the next few weeks. I think the farmers will take action. Whether that's the right or wrong thing to do, I don't know. I know they certainly need to be doing something. But what that is, Christ knows.
Well,
and
go on, sorry.
I was going to say and the government knows that the farmers don't know what to do. That's, you know, so they back them into a corner, they'll take action of some description, whatever that description looks like. You then blame them for the food shortages, you blame them for the land. You know, they'll say the farmers damaged the land, you know, not that it was government policy. You know, they'll say the farmers have damaged the land, the farmers did this, the farmers did that, and as a result of that, we need to get rid of the farmers.
Gremlins.
Oh.
Again, since the word farmers, like, damn.
Farmers.
I know. Crackle, crackle. But yeah, you know, you talk about the protest. I was going to have the last bit, but anyway, it's in the middle of conversation. So I've done a video because I've seen, and a few, I think we're talking about on the 10th or potentially from the 10th of January, barricading hubs. But so it looks like now they're going to, from 17th, barricading the supermarket car parks. Have they chickened out from that? Why have they decided to go?
From a conversation I had this morning, I think the stuff on the 10th still starts.
Right.
And they're looking
because that'd be stronger, isn't it? That'd be far more of an impact by barricading the supermarket hubs than it is to just go into the Tesco's car park and say, here we are, look at us, you know, with the tractors. Surely they'll have a massive more impact than that.
Yes, it does. But who do you want to piss off? Right. And the reason I say is because if the farmers rock up at the hub for Tesco's, as the Waitrose, whoever it might be, the food stops going to the supermarkets, the public get the arse.
Yeah. But many people support though, Mark. Many people say they were happily just to go a day or two without, just to support the farmers. And do let farmers do what they want to do, what they need to do. In fact,
I did a video the other day, and it had something like about 30,000, you know, likes and comments across it, across social media. And all I said was, would you support the farmers to take action? And absolutely unanimously, it was, you've got to do whatever you've got to do to protect our way of life and our way of feeding the nation. You know, at the end of the day, all farmers want to do is feed the public to the best way possible for them, sustainably, environmentally friendly, all the things what everyone keeps harping on about at the you know, at Davos that we need to be doing. Farmers are doing.
Yeah, I see there's a comment in there saying, so supermarkets employ vast amount of people, which they do. And they say, what they do for work if the supermarkets went. But it's not all that, though. They're just barricading the hub for an hour or two. It's not really going to cause people losing their jobs in the supermarket. They're still going to be there doing stuff, aren't they?
With the barricading the supermarkets, as I say, that is down to the fact that if the tractors roll in there, tractors are big statements, okay? So if you roll in there with lights flashing and banners on them, people go, oh, what's that all about? If you then involve the general public in that conversation and say to people, look, the reason we're here is because of this, 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 and this. As a result of this, 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 and this, you're paying more. Because we all know who's sitting on the biggest profits, the farmers or the bloody supermarkets and the packing stations. We know who's got the profits.
Yeah. Well, funnily enough, right, I've seen just this morning, I think it was just out, they're saying that obviously government's still talking about, you know, the farm and that kind of thing. And they're still bluntly saying they're not going to retract back the retirement thing. But apparently they're now working with farmers to make sure they get a better deal and better payout rather than having a flat thing. Apparently this is what they're working towards. It's almost like a new thing. They're trying to let's leave the the inheritance tax alone, but have a look at this. Come here, have a look. Let's have a look how what we're going to do. Yeah, we're going to do better stuff. We're going to pay you more than 1 kilo of veg, that kind of thing. That's what I've read today. But
Anna,
how much?
They slipped in this inheritance tax, right? And people say, oh, well, why shouldn't farmers have to pay tax? I have to pay tax. I pay tax every damn day of the year.
Yeah, no. People
same as everybody else does. I don't get an exemption for paying normal tax.
No, people misread this.
The reason inheritance tax was set aside for farmers was to keep people producing food. Now they don't want farmers to produce food because they've made a decision on our behalf that we're going to be happy to eat bugs, live on shite vegetables that are grown in water, and whatever other nonsense lab grown meat, whatever it might be. For me, that's not what I want. So, and it's quite clear by my viewers and your viewers and a lot of other people's, Anna, that ain't what the public wants either.
Yeah.
So, go on.
No, before I forget, you talk about the people, the ones that are saying about why farmers shouldn't be paying that. I found this a lot with the information you come up with. People generally, this is how I'm pretty sure, not saying 99%, I give more credit to more people, but they hear a thing somewhere and they take it as gospel without understanding what it is and then spew it out, and then what happens? And I hate this word because I just hate this word, but misinformation, like what certain companies use because things coming out. And although I disagree with the instance where they were talking about the misinformation that comes out from average people sometimes, it's absolutely ridiculous. It's like you say, somebody heard something because the farmers, and they make an assumption that farmers, like you say, don't have to pay tax at all. It's like, well, everybody pays tax. Farmers should pay tax. Yeah, it's not that point. And the same thing, well, if they've got like 100 grand, then why shouldn't they pay tax? Everybody else does. It's not the point. The point is the same. If you inherited, say, a house or whatever, or a car, let's talk that, it's the same as you saying, well, now you have to pay, say, your car's worth 100 grand, for example, and then you inherited that and suddenly says, well, you got to pay 40% or whatever, right? Or 20% even, say. So here we are, 20 grand, cough it up. If you can't, well, exactly that. Then you have to sell the car to pay the tax because you don't have the cash. And this is the same, goes with the farmers, land, and the machinery. That's the point, isn't it? The point is, what are they taxing? Not the money in the bank, but what you have to work with. And tax my shovel, it's exactly that, isn't it?
Oh, you're back in the room.
Yeah, because I was like, if you're taxing my shovel.
So let me just put something to it. So they say so the first £1 million you inherit is tax free.
Yeah.
Okay. And then if the farm is owned by mum and dad and it gets handed down to you, that you get the allowances on that. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, where we live in Suffolk, land where we are is £30,000 per acre.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I've got a friend who's a farmer, and they farm about 3,000 acres, and his dad started at a young age with nothing, started on a council farm, built that up, and he bought another farm, bought his first farm, and he rented, a bit more land, and he built it up and built it up and built it up. It's a gentleman's recently died the last couple of years. Lovely guy. But what I was going to make a point of, the son has one field that's one out of all the land he's got, right? He's got one field that's 100 acres. So that one field is worth £3 million. So that one field alone puts him over his inheritance tax.
Yeah. But Mark, who decides, how does the worth of the land works? Who tells them? So, for example, if you sell your land to me, if I want to buy your farm, I say, mate, I give you £1 an acre. Here we go. So my farm worth a £5, for example. Who decides what it's worth? Like with a house, you have estate agents, but it's still based on, them come and have a look.
Anything's worth what it's worth. It's what someone's prepared to pay for it, isn't it?
Well, yeah, but who decides? Who decides what you're going to be paying?
And this is the thing. See, the person buying it, the person selling it have to agree on it. Now, if you look at what's happened over the course of not just the UK, but worldwide, with people like Bill Gates, for instance, buying up vast amounts of farmland, if they go in and agricultural land is £30,000 an acre, and they go in and offer everybody £40,000 an acre, what's going to happen? Now, here's the problem. Take my mate who I was just talking about. he sold one field which was 90 acres, right? For planning. They're building a housing estate on it. It's worth millions upon millions upon millions. I think he got about 16 million, I think, for this site. Now, for that one field, he's got 16 million. That money has got 2 years in which he has to spend it back into the farm. Otherwise, he's got to pay tax on it at 40%, right? So
but he sold it. But he sold it though.
Yeah, so he sold that land, but he's got £1 million in the bank. Now he's either going to pay tax on that 16 million at 40%,
right?
Okay, or he's got to buy something with it for the farm.
Right, but that's kind of go on.
So the only thing he can buy with that amount of money is more land.
Yeah.
So if he's got, if the local farmers are charging £30,000 an acre, he doesn't care if he gives £50,000 an acre because he's not going to pay tax.
Yeah, but it's only fair though for that kind of
countrywide.
But it is fair enough with if you do sell something that because like an income tax, if you do keep the cash, it's only fair because anybody pays 40% income if you earn over 50 grand. So that's fair to pay that, right? It's fair to make sure that people don't get more than that because well, if you do earn that, well, I have to pay that, for example, then well, why shouldn't you in the 16 million? Yes, it's a lot of money, 40% to cough out, but at least it's kind of fair. But to get them to reinvest, and I don't know, as you say, what else do you buy?
Is that they get 2 years to reinvest, and that might be that I don't know if you wanted to put up a new building, for instance, a big barn, and that's £250,000.
Crackled again.
Oh, crackled. If you're going to put up a big barn and it's £250,000, £250,000 a lot of money to spend on a barn, but it's nothing against the 16 million you're trying to get rid of.
Yeah.
And a lot of these sites, they don't end up with any choice on selling them. He would have rather kept his field, but under compulsory purchase rules, he knew he was better off to sell it than not sell it, because if he didn't have compulsory purchase it, because he wanted to put a road through it, and that way he's ended up coming out of the best scenario, so he can buy more land.
Yeah.
But all it does all the time is just forces the price of land up. So what they've then ended up doing, and cleverly, I have to say, because what they've ended up doing is small people then can't get into buying land. The people who want to buy the land at the top of the ladder, the likes of Bill Gates or whoever it might be, are then in the position that they can borrow money because they're in the club which just prints more money.
Yeah.
They don't care if it costs 10% to buy it because they know they're going to get 20% on planting bloody trees on it as offset. And this is just complete nonsense, which has got to be done away with. In my opinion, we need to scrap every agricultural bill that exists in the UK.
And go again.
Is that it's gone again?
And go again. No, and go again. Like scrap the bill and then just start fresh.
And then just get down to the basics and go, okay, get the farmers around the table. What would be the best thing we can have here? But we know that's not going to happen because we know that's not the agenda.
Yeah.
So why is it all in such a muddle? Because that's part of the fucking agenda.
Yeah. But so just quickly, so you don't know, basically say that land's worth 30 grand, say an acre. Is that based on, say, how much somebody bought and sold? Like kind of say if this house next door sold recently, that means my house, for example, worth pretty much similar. Is that the land value?
Yeah. I mean, if you're near a city, and as the city boundaries expand all the time, then you're always pushing the fact that the income's going to go up on the land, and that forces the land further out to go up because then people go, oh well, I'll buy out in the villages, but then the villages need to develop as well, so the village price goes up, and eventually you end up with this money what everyone's sitting on going, well, I can't buy any more land because there isn't any. Yeah.
Oh, echoey. Yeah, no, it's madness, isn't it?
It's just crazy.
But so what do we reckon? Obviously the farmers then, so whether they will go ahead with the 10th, we don't know, but it'd be interesting to see. But it's not going to have the only thing is going to have an impact for the supermarkets, say for, well, it's not 2 hours blocking out. It's not really going to cause anything but a little bit of delay. It's if they then proceed to obviously day or 12 hours, that's going to cause a little bit of impact.
I think what will happen, I mean, in my personal opinion, and I've got to say, I don't think this is right.
No,
I don't think it's the right way to deal with this.
Yeah, maybe that's why they're doing this first, mind you. It's not, sorry, they're doing the 17th and this is on the 10th, isn't it?
Yeah, I think what they'll do is the farmers will keep up in the game and up in the ante pushing and pushing and pushing to push the government back, without understanding what's really going on. And until you understand the agenda, and until you understand what the government's trying to achieve by getting you to kick back, you know, like so I have this guy out yesterday, and he was saying, if you want to challenge the law on something, you start at where you are and you work backwardly and see how they got to here, because you can't challenge the law here in front of you because it changed 800 years ago. And 750 years ago, 700 years. So you have to unravel all of it. And that's what the farmers aren't doing. They're just going, I'm kicking up about inheritance tax. No, stop. This isn't about inheritance tax. Yeah, but I'm kicking up about, this isn't about.
It's just so much more than that now, isn't it? It started, it was the final straw. And this is, again, when I'm talking about the misinformation, or not misinformation, or lack of understanding, that people go on and go, oh, you know, this and that, and it's all just that, all pay taxes. It's so much more than that now. It's so much more than that. It was so much more than that from the start. It was just the final bit. And we cover this, and we try to say this every time I mention it. I try to say to people, it's not just about the tax, because all you guys, you know, all the farmers want to do is just to, you know, they just had enough, isn't it? Had enough of all this shite that's been pushed upon them. Just put them in a corner. If you've been doing this for, you know, how many generations, and you come to the stage where, do you know what? It's like you just get exhausted with all the, you know, the agendas of just trying to get rid of you. Do you know what I mean? It must feel horrible knowing that, you know? Yeah.
I mean, I had an interesting, and just slightly digressing, but it isn't. I had a very interesting, I was on doing someone's show the other evening, and someone came on there, and they were talking about in Yorkshire somewhere in the Midlands, where they've found a deposit underground about 1,400 meters down of potash and magnesium. Okay, it's a massive deposit, massive deposit. And to stop the quarry company, what was a small quarry company who owned the rights to it, to stop them getting the stuff out of the ground and selling it to the British industry and the British farmers, because it was ideal for helping to grow, putting goodness back into the ground. They told them they couldn't put a rail link in and they couldn't put a road in. So eventually the company, for all the arguments, went bankrupt. They were then bought out by an international company, let's say, an Anglo-American one. Oh, is this topic banned as well?
Sorry, what? So say, would you mind saying again? Sorry.
So what's happened since they've gone bankrupt? A bigger conglomerate's come along, as they do. Who obviously was playing, you know, with the strings upstairs on, you know, the road and the rail not being passed, and they've got permission to put a tunnel into it, an underground railway station, right, where the bulk of lorries will go through, and it's going to come out right on the coast near the docks. You're frozen again, Anna.
No, I'm okay.
Are you back? Jolly good. Nice to see you. So they've put a tunnel into this quarry now, underground, comes out at the coast. And the new company has sold all of the contents to China.
Wonderful. Okay.
And none of it at all now is going to go into British agriculture. Now, bearing in mind,
do you know the company?
I don't know, but it's an English Anglo-American thing. But they've signed a contract with the Chinese for the Chinese to export everything out of it. Now, that should go to British farmers because it's potash and magnesium. So that's that's the icing on the cake. You know, for farming, if you're going to take away nitrogen, you know, you need that. That potash is a great thing for putting nitrogen back in the ground.
Is that like a fertilizer, basically? It works as a fertilizer,
Yeah, and it's an organic natural one. You know, massive deposits of it under the ground. Whether that's volcanic or what, I don't know, but that, you know, they didn't say that. But and this person brought it to my attention on a show the other night, and I was like, why do the British farmers not know about this? Why are all these things quite quietly being hushed up? And I think that's one of the reasons they've got them to put a tunnel in, because if they put a railway link in, you've got again. Back in the room?
Bloody hell, yes, back in the room, yes. Jesus
So
Christ.
if they put a rail link in or a road link in, then people see all this stuff being transported and ask questions. If it goes underground out of the way, no one knows about it. Everyone just goes,
yeah. But why
what's going on over
China?
there? Nothing. Sorry?
Why China? Why China? Is it because maybe we're going to have not manufactured carrots from China? We're going to be finally grown properly with all that?
No, I would probably say more likely it's going to go out there, be processed and shipped back to us as a commodity that we can use.
Okay, yeah. Makes sense,
what
really.
I would say. You know, rather than just using it and, you know, doing the processing we need to do here or putting it on neat. I don't know what the constituency, you know, the consistency of it is.
Yeah.
But there's obviously a reason that's been shipped out of the country and not going directly to the farmers. And
what could be the same? Well, the same reason, couldn't it be? Just to literally just to get rid. If you soil listed, you know, and you can't get whatever, and then banning fertilizers, that kind of thing. But do you know? Sorry, go on. You go first.
All I was going to say on that is, and I would say that China's got enough potash because they're obviously burning coal like it's going out of fashion at the moment. They're launching 100 new coal-powered power stations in the next year. They must be producing plenty of ash, so I can't see why they'd be taking it back to, unless it's the minerals in it, because that's the other side of it. How rich is it in minerals? And is that what they're actually stripping out?
Yeah. But you know, you're talking about again the farming and, you know, the organic stuff, but all the, you know, like the carrot that's produced there and grown in God knows what. I did the obviously video the other day because there was an article talking about the pesticides. They're saying obviously you guys have a strict, but I have to use only 16 pesticides or something as a farmer in UK, or the ones that are approved. And then apparently the vegetables, fruits and vegetables that coming in from abroad have like 48. So I did a video obviously on that, and, you know, how to kind of clean the veg as best as we can type of thing. So that's another unfair advantage for the farmers, because obviously nobody likes pesticides, right? It is not, as a human, as a somebody wanting to consume food, we don't really want to, you know, consume it. But as a grower, you have no option. You can't really do without fully, could you? Not to produce the amount of food that's required, I would assume. Is pretty hard, isn't it? With the pests, you know, we grow it hard, isn't it? To go fully organic, it's pretty difficult for a bigger farm, isn't it, or not?
Okay, yes, it is.
Yeah.
If you farm on the farming practices is what big farms are using at the moment.
Yeah.
I do not believe that those farming practices are where we need to be going. I will say. I think that we need to be growing on a lot smaller scale.
Yeah.
A lot
more diversity.
Locally, a lot more seasonally, a lot more, you know,
diversity.
With a lot more diversity, especially. And, you know, and we see this on a lot of these bigger farms. They're all monoculture. You know, they've got, you know, well, we're a wheat farm, or, you know, next year we're going to be a barley farm. The year after we're going to be a sugar beet farm. There's no diversity in the, you know, in the crops. Crops aren't rotated anymore. There's no animals involved to put natural fertilizer on. And I'll come back to something else. I mean, just while we're on this side of the organic side as well. Two things. One, over Christmas, I had a friend come to stay, and they lent me a little machine for testing nitrates in fruit and veg. Right? Oh, you've gone again, Anna. That's good of you.
It's funny though, when you say that I go, you actually go crackly, and I'm still here, like looking at myself.
So, he gave me a nitrate tester to you know, borrow over Christmas period, and I'm sticking it in all the fruit and veg and things and testing things.
Yeah.
Now, I went to say, and the reason I say about this, I went to see a friend, and he's massively into his organic food.
Okay, yeah.
And he won't, you know, he said to me, I can't buy your fruit and veg because it's not guaranteed to be organic, you know, what your wholesale side. I said, all right. I said, let's do a nitrate test then. So I got the tester out, and he'd been to the supermarket, and I tested a couple of bits, and he's failed miserably. Okay.
Do you have to like poke it inside it, like with a metal probe or something? Yeah.
You click on the little screen to say, you know, I want to test onions, and it tells you, you know, what the percentage should be if it's safe to eat. And so I did a couple of bits with him while he was there, and he said, and he was gobsmacked at the results. His organic fruit and veg was getting out of the supermarket.
Right.
The nitrates were through the roof, and I mean through the roof.
So that was in the supermarket you did it, yeah? Within there, on organic?
Organic veg from a supermarket. So the next day, he ordered one, and when it came, he said to his wife, right, I'm not letting Mark get away with this. He said, I'm no way. He fixed that somehow. So he went off to the supermarket, and he bought 10 items in organic and normal.
Uh-huh. Oh, let me guess the outcome. Go on.
Go on.
All the same.
8 out of the 10 organic
are the same.
Failed miserably and were really high in nitrates, and the normal stuff off the farms was lower.
Oh.
Why is that? No. Now, why is that? Well, I can tell you the answer really simply.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll tell you the answer. Tell you the answer really simply to that. It's because the normal fruit and veg is grown in this country. So this was, things like carrots and parsnips and things like that.
Mm.
And we're having to reduce all our chemical usages.
Yeah.
All these foreign companies abroad, are growing organic. Are they hellers like? They're just sending anything over in the boxes. And it's that because they can use anything and they've got no one controlling them, they can say it's organic because they're not certified, and it's through the bloody roof with nitrates. And
but that's the point. People fail to understand. People always say like buy organic, but many say truly there's no organic left. And all the thing like those pesticides coming in, they cannot check them because they're coming in from left, right, and center. I've noticed, I think we've covered this before, like say you pick say Tesco's like strawberries or something else, right? Still packaged as Tesco's brand, whatever farm it is. And then on a small print, I've got the echo now again. And on a small print down the bottom, you'll find there different growers, different areas, and different varieties, all packaged under the same thing. So how possibly they could say or predict what's coming in from a different countries if they label this? It'd be the same from the different countries, right? They bring in, say, avocado. It'd be still avocado with whatever packaging, Tesco's, whatever. But it'll come from 10 different farmers. They're not going to bloody know what all those farmers are using or not. So no wonder they come in there. The most amount of pesticides, I think, was found on oranges. And it was, I think, 13 on a single. So it's clementine, it was specifically, not orange.
Yeah.
13 pesticides on a single bleeding fruit.
Yeah. 13.
So how are the farmers compete with that?
Well, yeah, I watched an interesting video the other day, and it was talking about how they make money out of the fruit and veg trade, especially in like places like South America. So what they do is they buy the crop when it's in season, pick it slightly early.
Yeah.
They coat it in things like Bill Gates's whatever he's appeal, yeah. They've got different things like waxes and different things what they can coat this with to keep it. They then put it in cold storage. They keep it for about 5 or 6 months in the cold store, and then when it's out of season, they bring it out and charge twice the amount of money for it. Right?
I read, was it yourself that we spoke to, or not fairly recently? Apples. The apples in our supermarket shelves that are sitting there are up to 1 year old already.
At least up to a year old. You're looking at the moment of New Zealand apples on the shelves, and British apples. British apples because they come in and go out within a few weeks.
Yeah.
Within 6 weeks, you can't buy an apple in an English apple.
Yeah.
So you've got to look at this stuff and you've got to question it. You've got to ask, how can they be getting? So I am lucky to be getting strawberries out, this time of year. No, you're not.
No, not knowing what they are, where they come from, isn't it? Although my little one loves strawberries, and I buy her when she wants to, and apparently still now somehow they are from Kent. God knows how possible, even with the bleeding polytunnel. I really don't know. The one thing I have growing that's out of season right now in my greenhouse is spring onions. They're bloody strong as anything. I don't know how, considering how cold it is. So how do they grow strawberries in Kent right now?
Strawberries. Well, you've got two options. It depends which one you want to believe. So,
well, you tell me which one.
So one of two things. One, they're either growing them in heated greenhouses, which they could possibly be.
That got to be a lot of heat for strawberries. A lot of heat. That's a lot of energy.
A lot of heat. So as I said, there's one of two options. So that's one option. The other option is that they could be strawberry washing when they bring them in from, let's say, Spain, bring them into the country.
Going through the hub, repackaging with UK strawberry.
Get sold to a farmer. The farmer then packs them as his own and sends them out. But I will say there is a company, I can't think what they're called. Can't remember. Something berries, they're called, and they're still picking. And they're down Portsmouth direction. I know they're on our hub. I noticed them the other day. And they're, and that's a classic example. I think how things have changed, Anna. And this comes back to what I said the other day on a video I was making. I was like, hang on, we're in the position that we know what the 2030 agenda is. We know if we was to add a little bit of sensibility to that, we'd say, well, by 2027, they're going to have this all in place.
Yeah. By 2027, do you reckon? 2 hours? 2 years.
2 years away. So that gives us 2 years as British farmers to adapt, change, and start putting things in place that will benefit us by that point, right?
Yeah.
So whether that's putting more strawberry plants in, more blueberries, blackberries, blackcurrants, raspberries, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
Soft fruit's worth a lot of money for what it is. And certainly I've been really fortunate because Ray and I sat down the other day on the farm and I've now been allocated a lot more space to grow veggies on. Well, what I'm actually going to grow is the next section is going to be particularly about soft fruit and apple trees and so forth. So that's something I didn't have enough room to do before. Now I will have. I've got a lot more. I've got a lot more. I've got a lot more rhubarb going in. I've got a lot more black currants, raspberries, blueberries, red currants, green currants. You name it, we've got it going on. So, I personally think, as we roll forward, the farmers have to make a decision. Do they sit and continually whine about how the supermarkets are treating them?
Yeah, or do something about it.
Whine about the inheritance tax situation, or do they do something about it?
Yeah.
For me, I think the public, Anna, has heard a lot of us, and I say us included here, talk about the doom and gloom side of what's coming, right? Because unfortunately, that's what gets people's attention. Right?
Yeah. Just quickly, sorry, before you go further, before I lose it, somebody said maybe it was a place in Egypt called Kent. Maybe there is, but no. The reason is it was an English name because I put a name of the farmer, and it wasn't some sort of it was a English, typically British
Anna,
name.
I'll guarantee you, if you check that farm out, you can't find it in Kent.
No, it doesn't exist.
I bet it doesn't exist. I'll guarantee it.
Long time ago, I've done this with the milk before the whole thing. There was a picture of a guy and a pretty cow, like his little pet, and you Google this is like, nah, it's full of shit. Literal.
Yeah, it is all shit.
Yeah. Sorry, I interrupted. Sorry.
I can't remember where I was now.
Damn it. Farmers growing diversity, growing stuff, and people need to, we're talking about telling people.
So but anyway, we're making those changes.
You lost your thought.
No, I know what I'm saying. So you and I have been accused in the past of spreading doom and gloom, right?
That's it. Yeah.
What people want is answers, Anna. Right? Now, I believe you definitely do that on your channel because you talk about the prepping side. You talk about how to do food preparation from raw basic food ingredients. Oh, we've gone again. And you talk about the natural side of stuff. We've built the foodhub.co.uk or the foodfindershub.co.uk. We've got that going. We've got farmers which are now advertising produce on there. We've got customers buying produce from them. That's where we need to be getting to. And that is the answers are out there. And as more farmers come on board and start growing stuff and producing stuff, they'll advertise on there as well. And the more production what goes on there, the more customers will go on there. And gradually, I think what we've got to do is we've got to, I guess, really pull ourselves away from the nonsense and the system, what's there and what's falling to bits. Because a bit like the Roman Empire, the Greek Empire, the Athenians, whatever it is, all great empires come to an end. And that is where the WEF are at the minute. Right on that pinnacle, it'll either succeed or it won't. And I don't think it will take us lot a lot to tip it over the edge. I think the 20th of January if I was a gambling person, is going to be a critical day.
Yeah. See, you talk about the farmers and diversity, right? And you said that you got yourself soft fruit and blah, blah, blah. So first thing, actually, before we moved to this house, we bought, or I ordered, fruit trees and fruit bushes. So literally, when I moved in here and I found out that our house was built on the base of a car park, of course I was heartbroken, but nonetheless didn't stop getting the digger in, taking the tarmac in certain places and putting in. This was the first thing we did, is to put the hedges as security and dug some holes, take some tarmac up for the fruit bushes. So within first 2 years, my berry bushes like black currants, red currants, and gooseberries started to produce. Not a lot, but enough to make do. To enough to make sort of jam, for 1 pot of jam, say. Now, it's enough there to produce, so I can make a red currant jelly instead of cranberry sauce, buying them from the supermarket, and black currant and gooseberry jams independently. That will last us for more than a year and still have enough fresh fruit just to nibble there and then. So my point is, when we used to live in Southeast, right, they used to have a lot of pick-your-own farms, and quite a few of them actually had like currants, gooseberries, even sunflowers and strawberries, of course. Yeah. And my, amazing thing with the bushes, with the currants, we know, like with the fruit trees, once you plant them, they're there for years. So why isn't it here? So why isn't it not popular? We live in rural Wales. There's farms about, but none of them really, well, only a couple do pick your own. And because pick your own comes with the price for a consumer, because you're going to the farm and you're picking this yourself and you pay over the odds for it. So the farmer will make more money. Why are the farmers not doing that? You plant once, you harvest forever, right? Why is it not? It's simple, right? The fruit bushes, right? As a retail, you buy them at like a £5, or lucky in Lidl for like £3.99 or something.
Yeah.
Why are they not doing that? It's so kind of easy, right? It's a sideline. It's a sideline, right?
I believe it is, yes, and I think it's a very profitable sideline. And if you go into B&M this morning, they're 2 trees for £12, 2 fruit trees for £12. Yeah, apples and pears and things, and plums and cherries and things. So it's not a lot of money to be able to get yourself into that. If you used to go and spend £100, you'd have a bloody orchard, for goodness sake.
Yeah.
So one of the problems has been that farmers have, in my opinion, have worried too much in the past about
supplying the supermarket.
Supplying supermarkets, they're very much worried about the fact of yield rather than quality. We must produce, and we can't have the public on the farm because they get in the way of us producing.
Right.
And so we've got to produce grain. Grain's the big answer. Grain's going to earn us £30 an acre. Oh, that's nice.
Oh.
We lost again.
Yeah.
And so as a result of that, I think from my side, what I see, Anna, is that farmers have got to make a decision.
Yeah.
They're either going to continue farming down the road of the commercial side, where they're going to supply supermarkets, they're going to supply grain into mills, into grain companies, and feed the processing system, and the processing system that in turn supplies the supermarket.
Mm.
Dairies are going to keep supplying milk to Arla, to keep supplying the supermarkets, all the packing stations, or the whatever they might be, or they're going to supply to the bloody public.
Yeah. So many people started to, haven't they, since the Arla? So many people started getting in contact and like finding out, and people are doing this. People finding out, because I've started similar to what obviously you did with the Food Finders thing, but a post on the channel, so people just comment. Once they know, because they email their phone, they go to the supermarkets, they look at the brands, and they get in touch with them, and they basically let us know. So a lot of the farms are confirming, even on the, say, Facebook or anywhere else, they're coming out and say, look, we are that. And so many people after those videos are coming out and saying, the best thing I ever did, like even the taste of the milk, everything else, and how they feel, be it full of the additive or not, we don't know at the moment which ones are. Sure. But people just making a conscious choice to step away from this. And people are finding out the companies that do deliver, milks. For us, unfortunately, like Milk and More and somebody else, they don't cover us at the moment. There was one, there's a Welsh one that apparently does, but unfortunately, I actually emailed them and say such and such, could you please confirm? And I had nothing. and that was a few days. That's a bit of a shame.
I've got to be honest. I spoke to McQueen's, and I spoke to McQueen's after giving them a promotion on social media. And
hold on. Who'd you spoke to? Sorry, you crackled.
I spoke to McQueen's Dairies.
McQueen's, right.
And exactly the same thing. It took me about 25 attempts to get through to them.
Yeah.
And the woman said to me, she said, you know, and I'd emailed, I'd phoned, and she said, Mark, I'm so sorry. She said, we have been overwhelmed. She said, and I mean, we've had, you know, they'd had about 500,000 emails. So,
Christ.
you know what I mean? They're never going to get through those emails. They're never going to get back to people. I mean, we found when we launched the hub, you know, we had 6,000 emails in the first 4 weeks, and it was like, holy.
How do you deal with that? Yeah.
I had someone put a snidey comment on YouTube yesterday, and they said, "Oh, I noticed you avoided my making a comment on my my comment about so and so." I was like, I didn't even do it.
Yeah.
I had 1,400 comments on that one post. I'm really sorry, but I just missed it.
Yeah, I know. I have to say the same. Unfortunately, I get so many questions coming in. Sometimes they're like the same question getting answered because people obviously can't be asked reading through, which I understand. But I don't, unfortunately, I do my best at least to heart and like. So I know I've seen it, but I can't always respond. Like even missing some, it's just because all the messages come through in one thing, and I can be scrolling through like 3,000 messages like in the morning. I'm just like, oh my god. But crazy. But yeah, with the milk stuff, I said more people are fully or getting more aware, more awake with that. So unfortunately,
100%.
If you rule, it's trouble. But I've noticed the milk, like the Tesco's Finest, which is the Jersey cow milk, and the Graham's one from Asda, they are bloody hell now. They are really, 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 really tricky to get hold of. Because if I don't have time to drive to my milk dispensing machine, unfortunately, I still, it's 40-minute round trip for me. I'm not always able to get milk from there. Yeah. But apparently they're meant to be okay. So, and popping in locally, and since that, especially our local supermarket, tiny, like my fixed on the shelf. Do you know what I mean? So I'm like, okay, it's crazy. But again, it shows that the people are the safety, not say safety in numbers, but how strong and what an impact is the people we can do. And the same comes with the food and other choices, isn't it? So you're saying obviously with the hub, I want to say obviously you did say you had a lot of people have joined in that, which is absolutely great, isn't it?
Yeah, about 7,000 have joined so far. Without 480 ambassadors have signed up.
Yeah.
And I think we're about 300 farms so far. So, and one of the things that's been interesting with it, Anna, I put a post up the other day. Let me backtrack. A friend of mine who I deliver veg to put up a post for his post office, and in it, he put a picture of Hovis loaf of bread, Muller milk, and so-and-so and so-and-so.
Yeah.
He put the post up. I hadn't got my glasses on. I saw he'd posted it, and I couldn't even see the bloody picture. And I shared it and said, pleased to be supplying the fruit and veg to go with this. And I got slaughtered by a couple of people, you're talking about good quality food, and then you're sharing this shit, blah, blah, blah. So I said, I messaged him and I said, can you do me a favor? Screenshot it, sent it to him and said, can you do a picture of the produce when you go inside the door? So they have a section what's all local produce, right? Mm-hmm. Which is a new section he's just recently launched, is what he's promoting, and why I was making the jokes. It's got us in there to do the fruit and veg now, rather than putting Jack's in there, which is obviously owned by Booker, owned by Tesco's. And so as a result of that, he put up a post of a fresh baked loaf of bread, which has only got 4 ingredients, some local farm eggs, a pint of local milk, and a picture of some fruit and veg I delivered.
Yeah.
Right. And I shared it. And I had 150 comments about, isn't it great to see how shops are making the change?
Yeah, sorry, you crackled again. So what did you say?
And 150 comments from people saying, isn't it great to see the way that shops are changing what they sell? And they'd already forgotten about the previous post, But I think what I was going to say on that is shopkeepers are looking to make that transition as well. They're starting to understand that people do want what they want, and they're prepared to pay that little bit more for it.
Yeah.
And that is one of the things which I'm noticing now, is that, that whole side. I'm conscious on time, Anna. I don't know if you
okay, that's fine. That's fine. If you need to go somewhere, that's fine. We'll
No, I'm conscious on your time. It's 59 minutes.
Oh no, that's all right. Makes no odds.
Oh.
That's what makes no odds. No, I was saying with the the whole wheat bread and stuff. Obviously, you know, the back to basics, the videos that I'm doing on the channel, and obviously they are appearing on your the Food Finders Hub. The idea is so that people then get to see and get to do certain things. And obviously, again, we had a good response from, you know, the views are not there comparing to my other videos, but understandable. Not everybody maybe wants to do that. But I was going to cover this in some other video anyway. But the simplicity of understanding, say, how to make milk, right? Or not, sorry, how to make milk, how to make some milk products, right? From so you have your decent milk, right? And then we made, excuse me, full fat milk, excuse me. And then we can have ability to make cream, cheeses, that kind of thing, just from one product. So if you imagine we can get milk from the farmer, that we're avoiding giving the supermarkets money on things like milk. Like the same with the bread. I've started now going into the bread back to basics. Like the bread, the certain ingredients are horrendous, which is also contains like human hair, right? In some instances, but they take protein. Like who the hell just it's going to bars, freaking hair, let's put it in the bread to make it last longer. What the hell is that all about? And this is a scary bloody truth about the shit that's now food.
Sorry, nobody caught a word of. No one caught a word of that because they stopped you.
Oh, really? The food, the bread. Some breads contain human hair and things like pig bristles or potentially feathers. They basically collect the hair from the floor of the barbers and stuff, and they make it into some sort of take the proteins out to make the bread last longer. This is why your whole bread or other bread, not saying whole got it, but I'm saying that's why the supermarket bread sit on a shelf for such a long time, because it got the shit in it. So my thought is, who on earth went to the barber, seen a bunch of freaking hair on the floor, say, let's whip it up, mix it together, you know, create some sort of a powder, whatever, and then add this to the people bread so it lasts longer. What the hell is this all about? 5 ingredients for basic loaf. Yeah. And it's so simple. And I will be stressing every time I do my back to basics video, I'm bringing an example of the amount of ingredients in a supermarket foods, and bringing the idea to, if we do it, how many ingredients you get, like, you know, by comparison. And the thing is, well, once we learned that, once we learned the bread making, again, I'll be following on now for other, you know, flour related things. Flour, water, milk, right? So flour you can buy from millers, water as long as, you know, you filter it. And obviously milk you get from the dairy farmers, say. So we can then make whole array, pretty much all of the bread products from those ingredients. Again, not giving a penny to the supermarkets, like £3-4 for pre-done some sort of like pancakes and stuff like that, you know. Yeah. So it's
interesting because I started looking at what we buy as food in general. We don't spend a great deal in supermarkets, to be fair. No. But I was looking at just things like a jar of honey, and how having a jar of honey instead of a £2 bag of sugar, you know, what's the difference for us, for health wise? What's the hazard? Yeah. You know, what are we not spending with the system? Because, you know, the guy who produces my honey, you know, I know him. I pay him in cash. He gives me a jar of honey. Well, he gives me, you know, I normally buy about 50 or 60 at a time for the shop and that. You know, and that's through me selling that and using that, that's 200 bags of sugar that are not being sold. Yeah. You know, that's 200 quid the system hasn't taken because I've made a decision to sell 50 jars of honey. And the health benefits to that, you know, you have to look at all this. And I think if people were to really get their heads around food and really start looking at what they purchase, and I'll tell you what, one of the worst things in the world is children's breakfast cereals. And I say children because it's normally the go-to, you know. The coloured, Yeah, you know, the colouring, the salt, the sugar. Oh, Jesus alive. And the wheat, which we don't need anyway, you know. Yeah. And you think,
but that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Go on.
You know, if you were, you know, a bit more of a conscious, not saying you, but, you know, as parents, if parents were a bit more conscious and they said, oh, look, there's some nice healthy yogurt and some nice fruit to go with it. Yeah. What a difference to that child's diet, instead of having a bowl full of shite milk, which has got bovia in it, and a shite salt, sugar, and cereal. Yeah.
As I said, I'm going to be making, that's my next thing. After I try to do them as much as possible. Obviously, the back to basics with the food, obviously, is a lot of there. So if anybody in between, if anybody's got any ideas to add on to back to basics, obviously drop us comment, whatever. So I'll add those to the list. But the next thing is going to be, like I said, food exposed, right? There is so much of, and again, not just going to be exposing food, the additives, stuff like you're saying, we're going to be talking about making our own. And I know people rely on the convenience. We're so used to be convenienced by all of that. Am I frozen? No.
You were.
Okay. No, we're so rely on the convenience of certain things, like, you know, with buying pre-done pancakes or cereals, that kind of thing. But you can make your own, and you can make it batch cooking.
So
you know,
easily.
all days people used to prepare.
So cheap and so good quality.
Yeah. So we will be covering, and the cereals, again, you can make your own cereals for kids if that's what your kid eats. You can do it. You can make your own. Yes, a little bit fluffing about, but you know, it's possible. Like with many things, already, like yourself, it's now, once you get this in your head, the what's going in there. First thing I do if I ever pick anything up is back of a label, have a look what's in it, and obviously put it down if it's not. But just one thing, just a disclaimer: when somebody said about it's disgusting about the bread, not saying there was hovis. I'm just saying that it's specific ingredients in some breads, but we'll cover this in a different video. I don't want to get in trouble for saying people are going to start spreading.
No, very relevant, very relevant. And I think, isn't it sad that we live in a world where these companies have the right to pick us up on us picking them up?
Yeah, I know. But we'll get, I think once we spread the awareness, and as long as a lot of people want to do it and change their ways, it could be a way for a better and healthier people, I suppose. And especially,
100%.
you know.
And I think we're starting to witness that, aren't we? You know, we know how our own channels are growing, Anna, that's as a result of people telling other people about it. And, you know, the last 3 interviews I've done are all people I've never done interviews with before, all got massive channels. I mean, one guy's got 4.7 million I did a video with yesterday.
Wow.
And that came out of 4 different people on his channels messaging him saying, you really need to talk to Mark, the Bowler Hat Farmer. And because of what I'm talking about, and he's all about law, and the other one was about the Christian religion, but was, you know, talking about how the food's been, you know, channeled towards a weapon of war and so forth. So, and I think that's where we are. And I think, sadly, you know, that people need to wake up.
Yeah, I know. But obviously spreading the word for the Food Finders Hub, obviously that's helped. And I did say to you, didn't I, the amazing how something that started very recently, people talking about it. Actually, in my local community, right, there's a app called Nextdoor. I couldn't get in it since we moved in there, I don't know, but nonetheless, but for some reason I still get like small notifications. And here they're talking about it, people saying, if you want to buy local, check out this food app. The word is spreading, and it's really kind of hit home when it's somebody like locally there, in my little village, and my village is tiny, right, actually talking about it. This is like absolutely amazing. So now I'm going to be like walking out from the front door.
Yeah, it's funny because I one of the groups I belong to, someone put on the group saying, all you farmers on here, you know, you need to get registered on this site if you sell something direct to the public. And one of the guys said, oh yes, Mark's website, you know. And so, but that's where you get to if the numbers grow, you know, and that's what we need to see, Anna. And I think we are seeing an awakening, not just on food, on lots of things that are going on around the world at the moment. And as a direct result of that, we're seeing, you know, really good things come out of this. And I think over the course of the next few months, we should start to see we'll see some light at the end of this tunnel.
Yeah, that'd be nice. That'd be nice. All right, question time, shall we? So question, are farmers paying into government agenda by taking progress to supermarkets? Might put public offside and government on to food from abroad. What? Oh, you froze. Do you see the question, Mark?
I can't see any questions, Anna.
Oh, you can't? Why not? To
be honest, I'm on mobile. If I do that, I'm not going to see
okay, fair enough.
So.
No, did you hear me? No. Our farmers are playing into the government's agenda by taking protests to supermarkets, and might that put the public...
I totally agree. This comes back to what we said first thing. Yeah.
And they said push public offsites, government to turn to food from abroad, which is their agenda anyway. That's why I think with the imports, the importing a fully coated in pesticide stuff without really giving a crap about it, and then not allowing our farmers to use... So, right. Oh, yeah, the list of code. Sorry. Somebody keep people asking. I did a video about the codes, and people got confused that well, not say got confused, but the list of codes on the back of a dairy, it was just a list of codes that you can pick up your cheese, have a look on the back of it, it's a little oval thingy with the numbers, and then have a look at that list, see what the kind of dairy it is, and then make an inquiry. Some people assumed, well, actually literally only a couple, assumed that it was just all Beauvais. And again, this is the misinformation that I'm saying, that people hear something, don't understand it, and then they emailed that company asking and said, oh, such and such said that you're using a Beauvais, and they got really angry. So I had an email. Then so they weren't really angry with me. They're just double checking. It's like, no, it's just somebody made an assumption without understanding, and then like doing this and kind of spread the word, But no, the code's there, okay, the back, just to reference it to the farm, so then you can make an inquiry. So if you do buy a specific item, check it, you find it, inquire. That was the whole idea of publishing that list. And I cannot do anything with that list because it's been emailed to me on a PDF, sorry, is an Excel spreadsheet, and I cannot put it in any attachment on the video or under the video. So unfortunately, the list is there. I've screenshotted or did the little video in the end of my video for that. Best as it stands at the moment, I might be able to convert it to PDF and put it on my website or something. That's probably be the only option. But as it's for YouTube, I cannot put it anywhere there, unfortunately. So
that's that code's been quite eye-opening, because I noticed I can't remember, one of the Facebook pages yesterday, the People's Farming Alliance, I think it was, put it up, and they'd questioned one which was up, and it was owned by one company who were making dairy for whoever, but that company doesn't even exist anymore. Someone else had bought them out. They then had lost the contract, but I think it was Waitrose, or one of them was then using that code number to say that their milk was safe because it was one of the unnamed companies.
Right.
Well, it was Arla stuff being repackaged with a different number on it.
Well, it has to be checked apparently on a yearly basis, that code. But
yearly.
Yeah, no, a lot can happen in a year. But it's well the same with the code. It's important to say, if you buy, say, your cheese from Asda, which is unfortunately that one, but important to check the code, because apparently those brands, those whoever makes yogurts, cheeses, whatever, that code potentially can change depending on the farm. But none the wiser still, none of us are still aware of what's what, apart from people are just specifically avoiding this brand just out of the principle, really. That's what it is. But considering it's only like 30, or actually in fact 40 now, it'd be easy for them just to bloody tell us, right? But the only reason I can swear they're just not telling us because it just gets mixed in. Like half of them commented, say, we can't guarantee that, time to time we're going to be using those to fulfill that. It's absolute freaking shambles. And I'm glad in the way that people are just taking a bit of a stand to it, just out of the principle, because not out of the point that, will harm any other company, out of the principle that just the dark. They're just keeping us in the dark. Just put the facts. Oh, I said just we're in the dark, and that's why people are angry. Just put the bleeding facts straight and just tell people what's happening. It's not knowing that gets people angry. I hate not knowing. If something's there, I just want to know the truth. However bad it is, just tell me the truth and make my own choice then.
You not knowing is part of the agenda.
Well, clearly. But
then you pick up about it, and then you piss the public off like I do, and the public then kicks back about it, and the public kicks back, and the government pushes this little bit more of a divide in between the public and the farmers, because the farmers get blamed for this, not the processors. Not oh well, Arla's just a dairy. No, Arla turns over
billions,
bloody billions,
billions
and billions and billions. They're not even an English company, for goodness sake,
No, and who's got shares in that as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know if I told you, just quickly before we do head off. The other day I went through my portfolio of shares in my pension, and I slaughtered the whole lot of anybody who had anything to do with bad food production.
Yeah, good.
And I looked into, I've even got like Aston Martin shares and things, and I was looking into no, they're making EVs, they can go. And I went all the way through it, and I ended up with 2 shares.
Yeah. So, fair enough. But no, sorry, somebody said Allah. I know when I said this before, somebody thought I said Allah. No, not Allah, Arla.
Arla.
Arla, the milk manufacturer brand.
That's why they're called pirates, because it's Arla.
Arla. Yeah, exactly. Oh, anyway, cool. Right. Okay, then. Well, if there's no more questions, then guys, then I suppose we're better then. I'm gonna go off and start recording some more back to basics. Oh yes, so please, yes, people, don't forget still, guys, to store the sorry. Food Finders Hub. Oh, spread the. You're gone. Please keep spreading. Please keep spreading the word about the Food Finders Hub, and please back to basics again. Important, so we all just know, and whoever wants to learn and understand that kind of thing. Support, subscriptions, thumbs ups, that kind of thing, all good for both channels. That'd be amazing. Yeah. And that's that, really.
Say, Anna, just one last thing before I go.
Yeah.
If you are at a supermarket on the 17th of January,
oh yes,
and you are there and you see the farmers protesting, do not walk past. Stop, have a chat with them, buy them a coffee, shake their hand, thank them for being there at 365 days a year, and do not get drawn into the bullshit the government is putting about. Whatever comes of this, the farmers need your support.
I might, if I have some if I'm gonna have some, I've got 3 supermarkets locally. So if they're there on the day, I might do my rounds and have a look. And if it is, then I might just, get my little camera out, get pally with some farmers, have a chit chat, have a bit of a, if they show up here. But they might go to the bigger ones, I don't know. But I'm sure I'll be covering this if it's going to be happening. So there we are. Okay, awesome. All right, well, thank you, Mark, very much. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your comments. And we shall see you very soon.
Look forward to it, darling. Bye.
Bye. Bye.